Are you an alpha or beta male? This simple question can lock you into a mindset that can hinder your life and development if you let it. Simply put, alpha meaning today having access to their choice of women, greater earning potentials and opportunities, and to more quote unquote power. Betas in today's society are simply there to provide. For example, when a woman wants to settle and have a family, typically those men will be labeled as beta providers, meaning they're just there to provide for their wife and for their kids. This idea of an alpha and beta male in today's society is dangerous, and it hinders so many men in their development to become true men of this world. If you lock yourself into one or the other for, say, oh, I'm the alpha, I have to be a bad boy, I have to be dominant, you could lock yourself out of many opportunities by being hard ass, stuck up, or just being a prick to many other guys. If you lock yourself into the mindset that, oh, I'm a beta, I'm a provider, you may never stand up for yourself, you may never present yourself well enough to get a job or the dream job you want, you may never be able to attract maybe the woman that you really want if you are looking for a long-term relationship or even marriage, which really isn't a good idea nowadays. But anyway, I digress. Looking at humans as alpha and betas, it's outdated, it's a myth, and it's wrong. Our EQ, for example, is insanely higher in proportion to any other closely related animal that inhabits this planet. We have an EQ of 5. Our brains, compared to the mass of our body, are massive, therefore giving us the ability to even share these ideas over the internet through research, through projects, and through podcasts like this. Today, the alpha and beta male myth often creates the image that human social hierarchy is very black and white, which is not. There are many intricacies and oftentimes a lot of subtle intricacies that many of us may not even pick up on. It almost insults our own human intelligence, comparing us to chimps and gorillas. They live in cages. We built those cages around them. If we are simply just more advanced than they are, yet we still have the same social hierarchy as them, what does that say about the human race? I'd say it makes us look pretty stupid. Like I mentioned earlier, our EQ is much greater than any other species on this earth. So, let's take, for example, why we shouldn't believe in the myth of this alpha and beta tendencies or psychology or makeup, whatever you want to call it today, that so many men have found themselves trapped in this mindset because they're never going to go anywhere with it. People look at the alpha as somebody who is a jack of all trades. What do we know about jack of all trades? You can know many things, but you will never master one thing. Being called a jack of all trades is not necessarily a compliment. Maybe somebody intends it to be a compliment. It's like, oh, you're a handyman. You can do a lot of things around the house. You're a jack of all trades. No, you're very good with your hands. You've mastered that. You have no idea how to program or do anything else like that, for example. You're not a jack of all trades. Somebody in context, when they talk about jack of all trades as an alpha, meaning they can get women, they got the power, they got the cars, they got the house, they got the money. How did they get that? There has to be, if you go back to their life, they didn't inherit it, they're not a trust fund baby, they're truly a self-made man, there has to be one aspect of their life that they truly mastered, whether that be real estate, for example, whether that be their job, whether they worked up through the ranks of a corporate company, whether they're a great public speaker, whether they own a restaurant chain, whether, it doesn't matter. They've mastered one specific skill in an industry or of themselves to create the life from an outward being that looks to be, he is a jack of all trades because he knows all these things now. Like, no. He has diligently created his life through mastering of a skill. And I think nowadays, many men find themselves wanting to be alphas without even curating any type of skills to find themselves to truly be able to master one. We just look at alphas and we're like, all right, we got to go get that leather jacket, we got to go get that bike. You need to sit down and you need to grind. You need to grind for years. I mean, I'm not a fan of Gary Vee, but he does have good content where he talks about your 20s. This can be your time, or your 30s. Maybe your 20s were wasted because you were trapped in this mindset. So maybe your 30s, you just sit your ass down and you just grind out. You figure out your skill and you pursue that shit. You keep pushing at it. Then you perfect your craft, you keep perfecting your craft, and then once you've perfected it, you've perfected once more. This is how you attain the so-called alpha status seen in the social hierarchy and intricacies of the human race. Alphas are not created the way that many people want you to believe alphas are created. They're not just throw on a leather jacket, get the motorcycle, play in a band, be the star athlete. No. People who have attained higher social status in today's world have perfected a craft. They have perfected a skill to make them appear alpha because they have created a lifestyle that they are carefree from or that they are well respected because of. Take, for example, a blacksmith hundreds of years ago. He was the best blacksmith in a 100-mile radius, but that's all he did. Every day he woke up and he crafted insanely intricate swords for kings and princes of those regions. His stuff was absolutely magnificent. And it took him years to be able to sell to maybe those kings, and it took him years to be able to sell to those princes. But he attained that over persistence of years, honing his skill. And now he's revered in the eyes of social hierarchy as somebody who were perceived in today's standards as alpha, because he has created that lifestyle where he has the utilities, the resources. He has the respect and the honor of the people around him. You should seek respect. Don't seek being an alpha dickweed. There's no such thing. You're only going to make yourself look like an idiot, and you're not going to go anywhere in life. I want to reiterate again. Steve Maeda stated after his talk about the myth of the alpha male, when he interviewed a portion of the audience that was 30 to 45 years old, they all stated they were successful because they gave up this identity psychology that is holding so many men back in the society. Thank you. It's been Redshift. Thank you for your time.